All right. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad to host you all today. I think that you're going to find this Masterclass series to be uplifting and an energetic remembrance of, exactly what you need to know in this now moment. So welcome to the Avalon Activation class, Masterclass series. Day one is going to be breathwork introduction for parasympathetic healing and a past life akashic activation. So we're going to learn the ways that breathwork can instantaneously improve your health and some practical tips for creating mindfulness at any moment throughout the day with 3 styles of breath. And this way you don't have to worry about being that weirdo on the subway or you're driving with your kids or what have you, and you just need to create, some peace in your body. So we'll go over some of those things today. So my name is Tiffany Calhoun, and my passion is to bring you to your healing from a soul level. And I use modalities such as breathwork, Reiki, the Akashic Records, and women's retreats. When I aligned to my soul's purpose, it helped me gain self-acceptance, self-love, and peace and freedom from living a life that never really felt like mine. And so my hope is to pass some of this knowing into your soul so that you can feel aligned to your essence as well. I am the owner of Sacred Vitality Healing. I have 15 years of experience in healthcare. I'm a mom of 2. I've been married to my partner 15 years. We've been married for 11. And I am a multidimensional being. I have the corporate life, but I'm also a somatic breathwork coach, a Reiki master teacher, an advanced Akashic Records practitioner, and a retreat curator. So welcome. I'm so excited to lead you all through this journey today. My vision for 2023 and beyond is that holistic wellness and science move forward together. I think we've learned a lot in the past few years, and our self-care routines need to include time in nature, consciously connecting with others, breathwork, movement, meditation, and digital detoxes. So why breathwork? Because you have to feel in order to heal. And the actual description and definition of breathwork is defined as a conscious and controlled breathing that's done especially for relaxation, meditation, or therapeutic purposes with an ultimate goal in mind at the end. It's work, right? Some of the goals are trauma release, somatic healing, nervous system regulation, mood and emotional regulation, subconscious reprogramming, belief clearing, including those limiting beliefs that are holding you back and continuously self-sabotaging you, and also breath work in the journey portion of some of the deeper containers that I lead can lead to a non-ordinary state of consciousness. This is really magical. This is where you're able to redefine all the structures and programs that you've been living and really identify what your soul desires in this lifetime and bring that forth into your body. So that's why I lead breathwork, and hopefully that helps to wrap it full circle for you in understanding why it's so important. So if you want to conquer the anxiety of your life, live life in the moment, live life in breath. Breathwork is really just self-manipulation and self-control of the nervous system. And we do that to regain our sovereignty over our own health. And we can do this through conscious connection with our breath for a desired outcome or goal. And ultimately, the goal is to regulate our autonomic nervous system. There's 2 pieces of your autonomic nervous system, which is the overall arching control of everything in your body, your heart rate, your digestion, your state of arousal, and your respiration. And respiration is the only bit of that we can control. So by using breath, we can regulate our respiration, and that can help to manipulate all those other areas that I talked about, the digestion, the heart rate, the states of arousal. And when you talk about states of arousal, you have 2 areas. You have your sympathetic, which is your fight or flight, and you stimulate that through upregulation, or you have your parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest, and you stimulate that through downregulation. And the parasympathetic is what we need more of in this modern society. Our nervous systems are spread so thin, they are dysregulated, and They cause us to react from a state of high arousal and stress. I'm not talking about sexual arousal. I'm talking about, the response of fight or flight. And so when we have the ability to consciously connect to our breath for this desired outcome or goal, we can affect this parasympathetic rest and digest through downregulation. And it can help us move into the state of health and consciousness and well-being, where we can really allow ourselves to bridge that gap between not having control over our body and responses to having control over our body and responses. And I guarantee you that once you sit in a session where you find what you need to control, you're then able to put that practice going forward and change multiple areas of your life. You'll start to see the triggers and you'll start to understand. So I'm going to walk you through 3 different types of breath work. And I want you to just sit back and relax a little bit. I have some gifts here on the screen, so I have to wait for it to reload. But the first one is 4-7-8, and this down regulates our nervous system. This is great for preparing for sleep. Maybe you're listening to a sleep meditation and you just want to wind down at the end of the day. Down regulating your nervous system is also really great if you find yourself in a high state of arousal or, fight or flight, right? So basically just taking some time, if you're in space with people that are triggering you, or you're at work and you're really stressed, or you're, like I said, you're getting ready for bed. So we can, breathe in through our nose on this inhale loop right here, breathing in really hard and really deep for 4. And then you're going to hold that for 7. And then you're going to exhale slowly. You want to exhale longer than the hold and longer than the inhale. And this is where you start to tell your body, repeating that cycle on the gift there. This is where you start to tell your body that you're safe, that there's not a saber-toothed tiger chasing you, that you're just around people who are triggering you. Your body's safe. You're in control of your surroundings. Everything's good. And your nervous system doesn't have to go haywire anymore. This is one of those times where you can really start to feel into your trigger. Feel into why. Why do I feel shaky? Why do I feel anxious? Why do I feel stressed right now? Breathing into that and holding, slowly releasing that exhale, getting to the bottom of those triggers. This is a really great technique. This is also really good for kids. I didn't explicitly write that out. It's a little hard for kids to do that longer exhale, but you can take the same format and apply it to any number. So breathing in for 5, holding for 8, breathing out for 9, making sure that you have enough breath for that release. If there's any questions, feel free to drop them into the chat. So I hope you're feeling a little bit more regulated from this learning practice. The second one I have for you is my favorite. It's so fun. So this one is called the 5-15 hum, or the bumblebee breath. This one I do with my kids all the time. So this down regulates your nervous system. This really gets you into that rest and digest. It's also really critical for stimulating your vagus nerve. So your vagus nerve is your longest nerve in the body. It goes from your brain all the way down. And then at your reproductive tract, it splits in half and goes down both your legs. So it's responsible for everything. It's responsible for our muscle function in our legs. Think about that everywhere. It's responsible for our sexual and reproductive health. It's responsible for our digestive health, for our breathing system. It's responsible for, our esophagus and all of that. And it's also responsible for a lot of hormone production. So when you breathe with a 5-second inhale through your nose and a 15-second exhale out through humming, it stimulates nitric oxide in your paranasal sinuses. It creates 15 times more nitric oxide, which is responsible for energizing your cells, triggering that safety feeling because it relaxes your muscles. It improves your circulation, your cardiovascular health. It lowers your blood pressure and it opens up your blood vessels. So it really tells your body that you're super safe and there's no reason to fear or to flight or anything like that. Nitrous oxide was actually determined to be the miracle molecule in some research done out of Stanford back in 2009. And like I said, this is a great one for the kids. So what this looks like is we're going to take a really deep breath in for 5 seconds through our nose, and you're going to let it out. 15 seconds is a little longer than you might think. Letting it out with that. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay, and breathing in again, really deep, and out for 15. Be on the recording just humming away, but you get it? Okay, breathing in again, and out for 15. And a hum. I do this all the time while I'm driving. After you do this one a few times, you'll start to feel that rush of that miracle molecule going through your system, breathing in again and out for 15. And really starting to trigger this feeling of peace and serenity. This is one of my favorite breaths for doing that. And breathing in again and out for 15. This is also a really great way to slow down your breathing for the day. We are a society of overbreathers, meaning that we're actually not taking advantage of our breath and how it can be as full as possible. Breathing in again and out for 15. Instead, we take short, shallow breaths into our upper chest instead of full, deep breaths into our diaphragm and our belly. Good. And breathing in again and out for 15. Kids love this one. They love making the noise. Okay. Any questions or insights that you gained from that would be, if you want to share that, it's amazing. And then our final breath that I'm going to teach you today, which we are going to carry into our akashic meditation, is called resonant breathing. And this is a great way to balance the nervous system as well. What it does is it takes your heart and your brain and it puts them into resonance. And what that means is that your heart is now connecting with the signals from your brain, is actually slowing down your heartbeat, but in a good way. It's slowing down your heart reactivity time. So like when you think of an athlete and they have the ability to get back into that state of rest after a fast sprint, you want that to be as short as possible. So you want your heart to slow down, regulate, and start to beat in a normal way again as quickly as possible. This is one of those great ways to do that. You can take this into your workouts. You can take this into your meditations. Really just breathing in through your nose for 5, exhaling through your mouth for 5. Just a very gentle way of breathing. When you close your eyes, it's very easy to do, very peaceful, very relaxing. You can feel it balancing your nervous system right away. This lowers our breath rate to 6 breaths per minute because you're doing 5-second inhale and 5-second exhale. So your breath cycle is 10 seconds. After this call, if you want to, you can take some time to not really tune into your breath, but somewhat tune into your breath and see how often you breathe in a minute. The majority of people breathe closer to 20, 25 times a minute, which, if you think about this, 20 to 25 is a 2 to 3 second breath. And now you're extending that to a 10-second breath. So by lowering the amount of times that you're breathing in a minute, you're actually becoming a stronger and better breather. This is one of those great ways to train you to become a nose breather when you're sleeping. Nose breathing is the best way to have a whole and restful night's sleep. And if you find yourself waking up with dry mouth or not rested, it might indicate that you're breathing through your mouth at night, which is 8 full hours of trying to get rest in a very rapid mouth breathing progression. So my advice would be to consider doing this breath, regulating your breathing habits. And then also you could try mouth taping at night. This will help you to really get into that zone. I hope everyone's feeling really relaxed. I want to take just a minute to switch over my screen. Oh, I did prepare you this yummy little. So, found this video welcoming you back to the island of Avalon. I'm going to be reading the introduction excerpt from the Isle of Avalon Sacred Mysteries of Arthur and Glastonbury by Nicholas Mann. This is a beautiful introduction to the heart of Avalon. It explains Avalon and what it is. I know we listed this Masterclass series as the Avalon Activation, and I did have some people drop in with questions of what exactly is Avalon? Where is it? So I wanted to read this excerpt. I found it, and it's the most beautiful way to describe Avalon. So if you would just take some time to settle back, close your eyes, and you can get into that resonant breathing. I'm going to pull up some music and we'll get started. And if someone could just give me a thumbs up if the volume of me and the music, great, perfect. So now that we understand how powerful our breath is to creating complete relaxation and healing, we can begin the akashic activation, where we'll be traveling back to the ancient island of Avalon. So much has been coming up about Glastonbury and the heart chakra of the world recently. And the purpose of this session is to take you back to meet the version of yourself who lived in Avalon throughout any point in history. And if you're unsure if you were there, but you felt called or guided to join this session, then trust that you'll be given exactly what you need during this activation, and that you were guided here for a reason. So we're finding a comfortable place to recline or lay back, closing your eyes, focusing on the presence of your heart and your breath. As we travel back to Avalon, you'll be learning about yourself in that time, and we'll be healing and transmuting any energy that you might be bringing forward into this lifetime that's not serving you. You might also receive an activation of an ancient gift that you had that's ready to be reactivated and remembered. And as I guide you through this session, I encourage you to keep an open heart, an open mind, without judgment, without shame. If you're shown something triggering that you did or that you experienced during this time, or any energy that you held during that time, just know that we're going back so we can transmute it, forgive it, heal it. As we travel into this energy of ancient Avalon, we're protected and we're safe. And we're doing so with compassion in our hearts and an open mind, ready and willing to receive any insights that this portal can give us at this time. Now setting the intention to open our cosmic gateway to the divine. Imagining a white light of the highest healing frequency descending from the central sun of our cosmos into our room and down into the top of our head, fully surrounding us with the presence of our angels, ascended masters, and loved ones. Feeling that energy anchoring into our heart. Flowing down through each chakra, purifying and activating, starting with your crown, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, your sacral, and finally your root. And setting the intention now to ground into Mother Earth by consciously allowing your golden white light energy to spill down your legs and out your feet like a rush of white roots starting to push their way into the soil under your foundation, and intuitively navigating the core of Mother Earth, anchoring in to a beautiful emerald in the center. And when you feel that your roots are anchored deep into the core of Mother Earth, sending information back and forth from your activated body to that of the receptive mother, go ahead and give them a tug and feel the shift as your energetic body recognizes the connection to the grounding presence. This activates your entire chakra system and your auric body, and it moves you into a state of authentic alignment. And you can begin to let go of anything or anyone that's not aligning to this highest version of you. And I want to start by reading you this excerpt from the Isle of Avalon, opening up this memory of the land and calling an invitation for you to connect to your remembrance of Avalon. After a long period of time, during which ages of ice and flood came and went, people began to settle around the inland sea of the summer land. The abundance of game, the easily traveled waterways, and the rich soil supplied all their needs. Surrounding the countryside of the Isle of Avalon stood out in the center of the marshes, the island's unusual hills and groves of trees watered by two strange and prolific springs made it an attractive and compelling destination. One milky spring bubbled out from a white grotto that led into a mysterious realm below the highest hill, and the other spring flowed blood red at times. The isle could not be seen because of a strange mist that encircled it over the ages, and otherworldliness grew up and around the island. And it was not to be idly visited at length. The island on the sea of glass became a place of initiation. Men and women, young and old, journeyed there in anxiety and anticipation of who was willing to climb its sacred mountain and who was willing to dive into the waters the springs flowed with. The same fluids as their bodies and that of their ancestors. Blood wouldn't be let so they could share in the mystery of the greater cycles of existence. Songs were sung to the cries of boys beginning their understanding, their powerful stories that were told as girls cried, and at the onset of their spirits entered into their lives, conceived during the transfer, inducing dances on the island. The dying asked their spirits return through the rites and ceremonies performed there. Later, as the Neolithic people discovered the power in shaping the landscape with works and earth and stone, they were inspired to consecrate the island in a unique way. They cleared the high hill of vegetation and began to give it shape. The form they selected for the hill was one that allowed a great assembly to gather on 7 terraces upon its slopes. The huge consecrated rings of the terraces were similar to that of the great ceremonial enclosures, the causeways camps of the day that were also possessed of vertical dimensions. There was a way up and a way down the vertical axis, and allowed for movement between and above and below, between light and darkness, between the inner and the outer, between the heaven and the hell, or whatever cosmic polarity was conceived to be at certain times of the year. To turn by astrological lines of sight, the people gathered to honor the opening between heaven and earth and the underworld ceremony, and increased the flow of energy between them. The surrounding landscape began to mirror this order of the cosmos. Times change, ideas alter, people built different monuments across the land, but the Isle of Avalon, with its shining waters, its sacred groves, its hallowed springs, its cave, and now with its marvelously sculpted world mountain, remained the Celtic tribes coming to the island as people had always done, by causeway or by boatway. It's a holy place with ritual boundaries that's separated from the outside. They built ramparts known as Punter's Ball. The Celts renewed the ancient and venerated traditions of the island by building nothing more, within the precedence being so enclosed as a sanctuary and as a gateway between the heavens and the underworld. Only those who initiated into the ancient mystery schools could stay on the island of glass. An energetic tradition sprang up. Perhaps it always existed. A certain number, 7, 9, 12, or 13 priests or priestesses or shamans dwelt on the island, and they kept the mysteries of the other worlds, of the subterranean and the celestial realms. They kept the mysteries of the great goddess and the twin goddess. They kept the mysteries of the astronomical cycles and the zodiac and the blood and the springs and the white spring of the world tree, the spiral castle, the sword, the spear, and the magical cauldron of rebirth. Perhaps at some time in the Iron Age, as the Druids provided a school for the initiates, their rule was to build nothing but simple huts from saplings that were covered with the reeds and the marshes. When the Christians came to Britain, they went to the island of Avalon and discussed the mysteries with its inhabitants. Over the years, ideas melded and contributed to the creation of the Celtic Church with its unique doctrines. And so we can start to see how this beautiful land was shaped. And there's so many different traditions coming forward from this land that used it and utilized its resources and its magic. And breathing into our heart space now and feeling it expand with every breath, with every heartbeat. And now expanding that outward into a portal of light. It's crystallizing a few feet in front of your body. And as you prepare to walk through this portal of light, we're calling in your team of guides, angels, light beings, who can assist you in guiding you into ancient Avalon. All beings of light of the highest healing frequency of unconditional love. We're calling upon any gods or goddesses, deities, ascended masters who can assist. Calling in particular the ascended masters of Avalon, Archangel Michael, Mary Magdalene, Yeshua, Mother Mary, Merlin, Saint Bridget, and the Lady in the Lake, to guide us through this portal, through Avalon, and aiding us to receive the wisdom that we need at this time. Repeating after me in a slow, intentional, heartfelt expression. And so I acknowledge the forces of light, asking for guidance, direction, and courage to know my truth as it is revealed for my highest good and the highest good of everyone connected to me. Help me to know myself in the light of my akashic records, to see myself through the eyes of the lords of my records, and enable me to share the wisdom and compassion that my masters, my teachers, and my loved ones have for me. And in your mind's eye, seeing the portal opening up, and you can peer through this portal, you begin to see the ancient Isle of Avalon. Under the veil of fog, and standing next to you is Mary Magdalene, here to guide you safely through this portal and watch over you. And when you're ready, taking a step forward in through this portal into Avalon. And before the world opens to your view, you're feeling yourself held in energetic limbo, gaining any energetic preparation that you need to fully enter the fog that protects this realm. Receiving any light codes, any sacred symbols, any downloads or energetic upgrades to realign you to the frequency of this dimension. Feeling that shift, breathing into that shift. And when you're ready to fully enter Avalon, do so now. What do you see? Just observe what this looks like for you. Continue to observe the period of time your guides took you to. spanning since the dawn of history. Whatever you see is real and valid and perfect. Just allowing yourself to walk through, observing people, what they're doing. And you will soon meet your past life version of you here. But for now, just get acquainted or reacquainted with this energy, with the scenes, with the remembrance. Now you may have had more than one lifetime in Avalon, but we are setting that intention right now that we are going to be shown and meet the version of you who is going to give you everything that you need to receive at this point in time. So we ask now that you are taken to view yourself in ancient Avalon. Where are you being taken to? See yourself from a distance, just observing. Who are you in this lifetime? And what are you doing? Your past Avalonian version of you is now receiving downloads, knowing that you have come to meet them. They feel your energy and they are open and receptive. On some level, they called you back here today to meet you, to help you remember. As you approach them, holding out your hand to let them know you are ready to meet. Coming together, grasping hands, making eye contact, feeling that energetic shift as two become one and aspects align. Feeling into this familiar energy. Receiving any messages or guidance. And the excitement is building. This past version of you is so excited to show you what your life was like at this time, what your home was like, what your village was like, what your community was to you. Let them show you this now. And they might even introduce you to some members from your village, or the role that they played in society here, the work that they did. No matter what we see or feel, we've come from a space of love and compassion for this version of yourself and for all others involved. And you are safe to receive this. And now you ask them to show you the world through their eyes, instead of just being the observer from the outside, merging to feel it through their point of view. They place their hand upon your crown and your third eye. You feel the energy shift and you begin to peer through a perspective of this past life from your point of view as that traveler. You begin to see Avalon through their eyes. Feeling it in your soul, remembering it as it was. And they take their hand off your third eye and your crown, and your perspective suddenly shifts back to that of the observer, the student. What have you learned? What have they taught you? They take you by both hands and connect with them heart to heart. And they share with you why you have been called back here today. There's an energy that's meant to be healed or released. There's a gift that's ready to be reactivated. There's wisdom that's ready to be shared. And now they tell you they're ready to take you to Mary Magdalene in her healing temple to receive even more wisdom and healing. And you begin to walk through the town towards the Abbey. But the Abbey looks different. There is a light pyramid over top of the stone structure. And as you approach the light pyramid, you begin to see the door. And on the door, your past life version of yourself points out some light language, some special symbols or codes. And you're not sure what they say or what they mean, but the resonance in your body informs you. Your Avalonian self opens the door to the temple and you walk in to a space illuminated with the brightest white light of the highest healing frequency. And you step in and notice 2 healing crystal tables in the center of the pyramid. Your heart pulls you to begin walking to these tables. And from the other side of the temple, Mary Magdalene is approaching you. At first, the appearance is more of an apparition. But as she gets closer, you begin to shift in your frequency to match her. And this feeling of the highest unconditional loving frequency overwhelms you at first. And she takes you by the hand. You feel the surge run through your body as she leads you to a table. You lay on one table of rose quartz, and your Avalonian self lays on the other table. They're close enough that you clasp hands, still feeling that energetic flow between the two of you as 2 aspects merging into one. And Mary Magdalene places her hands on your crown, infusing you with whatever wisdom you are needing to know in this now moment. She then moves to your third eye and removes something. When you feel into that, it feels like a part of the veil of forgetfulness has been removed. She then moves to your heart, continuing to infuse energy and healing as she speaks light language over your body, performing a healing ritual that removes lower vibrational energy and infuses instead unconditional love, acceptance, and remembrance. All the while, through your clasped hands with your Avalonian self, these healings, these light codes, this light language is transmuting any pain, any suffering, or any karmic cycles that need to be ended in that timeline. And your Avalonian self is so grateful for you coming today for this healing. across all space and time and all dimensions, all realities, all realms, past, present, and future. Mary Magdalene shifts her focus to your womb space, to your sacral, infusing the highest healing light into your center of creativity, clearing any stagnant energies from this timeline or any other timeline that are not serving your highest good. Removing any implants, any programs affecting your worthiness, your abundance, your abilities, helping you to transmute that all and sending that up to the great central sun to be transmuted into something beautiful. And she grabs your hand and lets you know that the energetic healing is complete. That you may ask her anything that is on your heart. And so as you begin to prepare yourself to speak, filling your heart with gratitude and allowing your soul to take over from here, asking that one thing that you want to ask Mary Magdalene now. Any wisdom that you are downloading in this moment, you will receive when you are ready and the time is appropriate. Mary Magdalene calls upon her high priestesses from the Order of the Blue Rose and all beings that can help you at this time. The room is suddenly full of support. Any energy that needs to be released from this time, this timeline, this realm, here and now, being extracted from you. And as it is extracted from you, it's freeing this Avalonian version of yourself as well. And these divine helpers pulling out all the energy, freeing you both, transmuting it back into light. You no longer need to carry this. Using these high vibrational tools of light to heal you and heal parts of you that lived in ancient Avalon. A high priestess now comes over to you and tells you it's time to activate any gifts from this point in time. And she places her hands upon your crown, reawakening you, surging energy into these forgotten gifts. Telling you that she would not be doing this unless she fully trusted that you would use these gifts for the highest light and healing of everyone connected to you. All the divine helpers are creating a beautiful barrier of light that will keep out any darkness as you receive these gifts and this activation and this healing. Finalizing any transmissions that need to be finalized. I'm receiving it all now. And the high priestess guides you to sit up and stand up from the table. They walk you and your Avalonian self to Mary Magdalene. And she places her hand upon your head and your Avalonian version's head, giving you a blessing at this time. And all you feel is love and truth of who you are now and the truth of who you've always been, the truth of your soul. And the feeling from all the support in the room is that of oneness and unity. And you are safe, and all has been forgiven, and all has been transmuted. And the energy of celebration flows through Avalon. The vibration, the shifts, all of that healing coming from you. Washing over Avalon right now, helping to heal that whole timeline, helping to reactivate the memory of Avalon in all of us. And it is now time for you to begin your journey back through the portal as you leave Mary's healing temple, expressing the highest gratitude for all healing and wisdom received today. Walking towards the door, making your way out of the Abbey, Mary Magdalene takes your hand and lets you know that she'll be walking you through the portal back into this now moment, aligning you to the grounding and the activation and integration of everything that you've received. And as you're feeling these light codes flowing through your beingness, you step through the door to this portal, back to your body, to who you are at this point in time. Feeling your consciousness begin to merge and ground back into your body, starting with your crown space and head, overlaying your heart, your activated womb space, and finally grounding into your root and connecting back to Mother Earth. Before she leaves, you bow your head in gratitude, thanking her and all the other Ascended Masters present today. And we express the deepest gratitude for being held and nurtured by Mary, all of our angels and guides, and thanking them for always reminding you that you have always held the truth to who you are within. And when you're ready, bringing one hand to your heart, feeling your breath, giving thanks for the wonder of the body to be in one place, while our soul and consciousness can travel for the deepest healing and wisdom, allowing us to remain safe and supported and protected. Thanking all the masters, teachers, and guides for all knowledge and healing today. And gently setting the intention to close your akashic records now. And so it is, and it is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Leave that one just a little bit. Kind of like the music in the background. How are we feeling? I'm going to pause this recording. Thank everyone for coming for day one. I will stay on a little longer with the live folks, helping them to integrate and make sense of any of what they received. We will see you tomorrow for Kara's activation of the Priestess and Queen blueprints. Goodbye for now on the recording.